Hey, this is Jeremy Rowland with the 5 Pencil Method team. And today we have one more special presentation for you. As I mentioned in the last video in this series, Darrel's new tutorial series, Goldilocks, the Portrait Artist's Guide to Drawing Storybook Curls, launches today. It's now available. And I just want to take a few minutes to sit down with Darrel and talk a little bit more about this new series. What went into it? What are some of the skills that were learned, and what we can take away from it? So, Darrel, thank you for being here today, and thank you for agreeing to answer some of my questions.
Hi everybody. Glad you could join us.
And Darrel, I'm going to start off with my first question here, and that was, what drew you to this image, this girl that eventually became known as Goldilocks? What was it that drew you to this picture?
Well, there's a number of things, but I was intrigued by this half of a face. And I guess intrigue is one of the words I would use, the mystique and the intrigue of, the mystery of what she's thinking about and doing. I just like that half of the face, and then also the challenge of being able to do something that you think is going to be real easy, and yet there's so much you can communicate through this drawing. So
this Goldilocks project was kind of unlike anything you'd ever done in the art studio or any 5 pencil related tutorial. And there were some unique elements that came into play. And so what were some of the challenges that you faced in this drawing?
Well, I think it was a great opportunity for us to force ourselves to address some of the things that are quite different. One of the things was the type and style of her hair. It was kind of a gelled look instead of just having something that was full of lines and strokes. Although those are incorporated into it, I wanted to be able to do something different where we can really concentrate on how to separate dimensions, how to separate elements, what's going behind what, and what's coming forward, and what's being pushed back. There's some very good fundamentals and basic principles that I think are in play in all of our drawings, but this gave us an opportunity to isolate those things and really face it. If you're not thinking about it and you get a little careless or maybe a little quick, you'll miss the opportunity to capture the uniqueness of her look. It also gave us an opportunity to address some of those things that I think are extremely important. I've mentioned it a couple times over the past few days. The major contrast, and I put them into categories such as light and dark, contrast between value, the contrast between textures, and can I separate elements by just concentrating on making sure that I'm not creating a texture is going to be hard for us to see the difference, but we don't want it to be just too evident. We want it to be something that our minds are comfortable with and understand exactly when the person is looking at our piece of art. Of course, we want to be able to feel that way too, and I think if you feel that way, that it's going to really make a difference on how it comes across, because some of these things are very subtle and yet very powerful. I thought this was a very powerful picture. We also have shapes, and it's really important to be able to, as I continue trying to bring everybody along, learn how to see shapes and angles and the contrast between curves and something that's straighter. All these things are just wonderful opportunities to designate something as different from what it's next to. And then establishing light direction. And we had the great opportunity to do somebody very, very fair-skinned and yet even lighter in value overall hair, and then have that great opportunity to see what we could do with that. I know it's really challenging doing light hair. Often I get comments and questions. How do I do light hair? How do I do a white cat? How do I do something that I still need to have the depth and everything? But because it's managing the contrast that you have available to you, it's not making everything dark enough so that everything kind of fits in the same category throughout all your drawings. It's managing the set of values that you have to work with in that particular subject. It might be a range that is just going, from white for your brightest highlight to something that is maybe a 25% grayscale. And some of you may not understand what that means, but it's obviously only 1/4 as dark as black. And so making something dark is something that I wanted everybody to experience, and yet there are dark values that are very key in helping us be able to complement or describe the lesser values, the lighter values that we have to work with. And then we had the great opportunity to see, okay, could we go ahead and do this drawing with the light hair, with the limited amount of contrast, and then when we're all finished making it succeed in that way, then we could go ahead and see what it would be like if we added a background. And these are things that I really, my whole endeavor in trying to have these series and these lessons and whatever you have an opportunity to view is to, again, challenge you with something that isn't maybe the norm. Some of you are saying, well, I've never drawn curly blonde hair that's gelled and doesn't show all of the wonderful softness of hair. But we learned something, and we had an opportunity to come back in and decide why and how am I going to determine whether I'm going to have a dark background or a light background. What would happen to my drawing if I were to put a very dark background in there? And just it goes on and on like that with basics and solid principles that can be applied to any subject, and yet it teaches you to pay attention. Oh yes, I know, we worked on that in the core concepts. I can see how it's applied in this, and I never thought of it before. And so this helps you be able to have something that communicates, isn't just capturing an image on a piece of paper in a very generic way, but something that communicates and speaks to the viewer. And I want these things to speak to me too. That's why I spend the time I do. I like to be able to get a feel for the personality and the character. I like to see if I can accomplish the challenge of being able to have these captivating subconscious communications from the image. And I'm not trying to get weird. I'm just saying that some of the smallest things, some of the things that you would think are so insignificant that you might pass them by and not think about them, are often some of the most powerful things. That's why somebody that says that they can't draw a stickman, I don't care if you want to draw a stickman, you can find out how to draw a stickman even more effective than you might have ever thought. And so even down to the simplest interpretation, the simplest subject, you can make these dynamic and again compel somebody to look at it. And sometimes they don't even understand what they're looking at. They just say, wow, I never saw this have so much expression. This communicates so much. And you can go ahead and have the satisfaction of knowing it's because I paid attention to these solid principles and these core concepts, and I'm able to separate all the different elements and make each one of them communicate on its very own. So that's kind of what I think about, what I hope that I can communicate to all of you, and I hope I answered the question.
No, most definitely. And I think it's important to remember that when drawing these portraits, whether it's Goldilocks, the Lazy Cat, or Mr. Mulligan, I think it's important to remember that like you said, these are reinforcing these core concepts, these fundamentals, but it's doing it in a way that's a little more exciting. It's the sphere exercise, it's the Darrel barrel, it's the taper stroke exercise, but it puts it into a different context and makes it a little more intriguing. And I think that's what makes these really special. Right.
That's what helps us be able to recognize it when we look at a subject. Say, oh, I have a chance to see if I can accomplish this in that subject. It's really a wonderful challenge.
In light of these new techniques and skills that you approached in this series, were there new supplies, new tools you had to come up with to make this one happen, or what did it take?
One thing I've always enjoyed about drawing, and a lot because, as many of you out there too, when I was a child, I didn't have any money. My folks were, I guess, what you consider by many standards poor. and they just couldn't run out and get me art supplies. But I had something innate in me that wanted to express myself through art, and the pencil gave me that opportunity. And it was something that I could most often find. I started realizing that if I sharpened it, I could maybe do a few more things. If I applied it a certain way, I could maybe do a few things. I could, even as a young kid, make major renovations in my art because of the way I put down the pencil without too much pressure. Just little things that kept coming along. But that pencil is such a common tool. You could be sitting in your office. You could be having a break. And chances are you can find a piece of paper and a pencil. And so, yes, we've gone ahead and I've answered the questions of, well, what do you use? And how many grades and what grades do you use of pencils? And what kind of an eraser do you use? Well, I've tried to go ahead and give you the advantage of knowing some of the things that still keep it to a very simple collection of materials and tools, and trying to keep it just as I appreciated when I was younger, the expenses down, and have it be something that's so available to you. You don't have to carry around a big case with a whole bunch of paint and be able to have an easel and set it up. Yes, it's nice, and creating an ideal situation with the right lighting and all these things are wonderful, but you can still do it so simply and with minimal expense. And I really appreciate that. In this case, we used a straight edge that I have suggested you get used to using all the way through. This is just a way to get you to see, again, your subject differently and to be able to come up with proper proportions and things that are often what kills a lot of your attempts. You may have a lot of ability, actually drawing the textures and the values and show a lot of capability, but if your proportions aren't right, then there's always going to be something haunting and wrong, and you'll come up with perspectives that are off and shapes that just don't capture the character and personality of that particular person. So it's all an education process of going through, but still using these simple tools. An eraser, yes, I have several different types of erasers, but my kneaded eraser is just the most wonderful thing. And guess what? I can go ahead and refresh it by finding out how to knead it. When it gets dark and it seems like it's about ready to be discarded, you can reconstitute it and refresh it. And it's basically as good or better than a brand new eraser out of the package. And these things were really important to me as a child and as a young adult, when I didn't have a whole lot to work with. And so it's very, very basic. I found out that if I had a certain kind of brush, that I could soften up a few things once in a while. And so I had a chance to use a camel hair brush when I was young, because I found one in my dad's photographic studio that he was brushing off gently certain things, and it was again made out of camel hair. Well, I finally found out where I could get those, and it's become a stable part of my tools and materials. And then beyond that, you can have a few tools. It's nice to be able to pay attention to your light source and have a good consistent surface to work on. And that can be many things, but you learn over time that consistency is what helps you really, again, consistently create maybe a masterpiece or something that is enjoyable. And if you're ever going on and somebody's asking you to illustrate books or magazines or something like that, you want to be able to show them, do you have a consistency? So always knowing what tools I'm going to work with, creating my situation as best to my ability is going to give that client an opportunity to have faith that you're going to come up with something very much like what they saw, at least intriguing and captivating, like they were captivated when they saw a previous drawing that you had done. That's probably what it's going to happen with all of you. It's hopefully the exposure, the confidence you're going to gain, and yet the exposure that people are going to see your work and say, there's something special about Dan's work. or Sue's work or whatever it happens to be, Darrel's work. And I want that. I just want that. I wonder if he can capture it on my subject. Well, everything I've seen so far is very consistent. There are a wide range of subjects, but there's always a certain something that comes out in your drawing. So that's what I like to try to concentrate on. You have the simple tools within the reach of most people, and you don't have a lot of expensive brushes. My little camel hair brush, I think, cost about $2 or something like that, whatever. And the eraser could be $1 or $2. And I'm set for months, years, and I don't have to keep worrying about refreshing it, buying all these wonderful special brushes for painting. And I like them, but still it's very expensive. And so anyway, within the reach of everybody, whether you're financially stable and have everything you need, or whether you're wanting to express yourself sitting in the corner somewhere and you don't have all the fancy things, you can still express yourself and create something. So, and I guess I forgot about this. We did introduce color into this particular Goldilocks. We decided to do like we did on the cat series, Lazy Cat. We just did a splash of color. We did it the eye, and yet it's very important to learn how not to make that too overpowering in your drawing. Something that intrigues you, captivates you, and yet is a complete complement to the rest of your drawing. So yes, we did. I used color erase. I wouldn't have used some other ones because of the incompatibility. But even though I like all kinds of colored pencils, in this case, for the graphite, it was nice to have the color erase. But this drawing, and any of the drawings, can be done in black and white or grayscale, in graphite, whatever you want to call it, and still be powerful. Isn't it amazing what you can create with just a grayscale from white to black or white to dark? A graphite isn't going to be black, but anyway, we've talked about that over the past 2 or 3 videos too. Is it important to have black, and what would it do to your drawing if we were to get carried away and maybe use something too dark? And so anyway, I hope that you can pick up my excitement and passion and have that opportunity to develop that in yourself, because you realize that this is within your reach and you can have the opportunity to express yourself in a very powerful way.
That's great. And it never ceases to amaze me how much you can accomplish with just a graphite pencil. Yeah. I've made several. I went to art school. I've made several trips to the art supply store, and I know that just one trip can totally wipe out your wallet. But with drawing, it's not too hard to find a pencil and a good piece of paper and just start drawing. Yeah, like you said. So that's great. And just like the tools, we want to keep those affordable. We also we like to keep the actual tutorials, the series, as affordable as possible. Mm-hmm. And as I mentioned, today is the launch of this new product. It's the Portrait Artist's Guide to Drawing Storybook Curls. And we're really excited about this one, and we're excited to get it out to you, and to keep it as affordable as possible and get it to as many people as possible. We're offering a 50% discount during this launch, and we're going to pass that on to you. And I also wanted to let you know about, we've got a little free offer that comes with it as well. When you purchase this set, you'll also get the opportunity to choose from the other past Art Studio DVD sets. You can pick one of those out of your choice for free when you purchase this new series. So, like I said, this series is available now. And if you want to learn more about it, you want to see some of the student artwork that was done, you want to see some thumbnails, pictures from the actual series, read the lesson descriptions, read some testimonials, and just see what it was all about, you can click on the link just below this video and it'll take you to the page that's devoted to this series specifically. So Darrel, I think that's it. I think we've learned a lot about this new series, and I know I'm pretty excited about it. And I can tell you are too.
Oh, it's always so wonderful. You can probably tell there's nothing I enjoy more. I used to think it was art. I think equally as much as it's sharing. and helping you accomplish something you maybe never even thought was possible. If you're a very successful artist, maybe I can contribute something that will push it to another level and just give you that, wow, if I just did that, I might be able to accomplish this kind of a thing, an aha moment. And I love sharing. That's why we do so many things that are free. It's not making us wealthy, and sometimes actually we struggle, but we're able to get it out there, which is our main endeavor. It's my philosophy, making sure that art is available to everyone and no one gets excluded if I can have anything to say about it. And there's always a way to express yourself, and this is, I think, a wonderful opportunity for that. So, you know.
Thank you so much, Darrel, for your time. It's been great talking to you over these past few videos, and just want to say thank you to everyone for joining in and watching these. I hope you've been able to learn something. I'm sure you have. There's been a lot of great information shared, and as always, we want you to comment below if you've learned something, if you want to learn something else, if you have a question about the new product, whatever it may be. Please leave us a comment just below the video, and we'll do our best to get back to you.
Good to have this opportunity again. Thanks, Jeremy, and everybody for tuning in.
All right. Take care.
Bye.